Welcome viewers to this week's Footy Show. Another big week in footy and we're here to cover all the highlights. G'day Crawls.
G'day buddy, how you going?
Going well mate. So folks, don't know if you've noticed, but big changes for the Footy Show this week. I think for the first time ever, Crawls, in 3 years of doing this show, we're sitting on the opposite sides.
Absolutely mate, innovation, you've got to change things up.
Good as a holiday. And we've no planning, no coordination's gone into the wardrobe, but we are both in the Force shirts.
On the same wavelength.
We'll come to that a little bit later on, won't we? Touch on a bit of rep stuff.
Absolutely, look forward to it.
But we thought we start this week by just casting our eyes back a little bit. Last weekend we had the first of 3 junior crossover rounds for both under 11 and under 13. 11's down at Nambucca, 13's at Bello. Fantastic days in both locations. Hundreds of kids running around. Huge smiles everywhere. Great weather. Great hospitality at both clubs. Heaps of great feedback. Couple of things that stood out for you though, Crawls?
Yeah, it was a fantastic day at both venues. We both got to both, which was terrific. Down at Nambucca early in the first game, down there we had a couple of players I hadn't seen play before. I thought Isaac Luke, who's playing from the Manning Valley Mustangs, but from Camden Haven.
Yes.
Real talent. Only a little fella, but he's
Little
playing...
Bomb
Sorry?
The little bomb sting?
Yeah, the Bomb Stang, that's right. He's playing terrific footy. So I was very impressed the first game I've ever seen him play. Nambucca Valley Lions are going pretty well in the under 11s this year. Some interesting things happened in their first game, which was against Port Macquarie. One of the kids came running out of the middle and managed to latch onto an inverted barrel that happened to fly down into the forward line. I'm not sure it was all that deliberate, but one of the rare things you don't see in a footy field. And then later on, a couple of the kids were, they had a nice little lead and they were having a shot with bananas on the run as well. So Nambucca have graduated past just teaching the drop punt. They've got all the tricks going on in their armoury at the moment.
They're innovating left, right and centre, mate.
They are.
Speaking of innovation, that was probably one of the absolute highlights for me. And big shout out, big congratulations to both the Nambucca Valley Lions and the Bello Bulldogs on staging fantastic days. But I love the innovation of both clubs, particularly around the siren. So first of all, for me out at Bello, and of course where else in the country, or certainly where else in our region, could you expect to find the siren doubling up as a cowbell? So that was a nice little rural touch there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Always unique out at Bello. And then you go down to Nambucca and they've got a car parked out in the middle of the ground because their air horn's packed it in, so they're just using the car horn.
I think we might have got through game one with the air horn, and then it was onto the car horn. So
yeah, only problem was later in the day the owner of the car had to leave before the day was finished, and so then there was a mad scramble on to get a new car out there with the horn. So, but no, great job by those two clubs. Well done, and thank you guys for all the hard work.
Absolutely, it was fantastic, and we look forward to the next edition.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of weeks away, and be great to I think we're Southwest Rocks and Port Macquarie next time. So great to get out to a couple of new venues for crossover.
Awesome.
So this week's footy senior action, mate.
All happening.
Big games.
Yeah, the Grafton Tigers, whose performances in the last couple of weeks have been a bit better. They really pushed Sawtell 2 weeks ago, and they put up a bit of resistance against the Breakers last week. Has been good. They're at home against Port this week. We always know it's a bit of a struggle for Port to travel up to Grafton. It'll be interesting to see how they go. I think you're expecting a really tight tussle up there. It should be good. Yeah,
Port will certainly be hurting. They were light on last week against Sawtell and I guess paid the price. Not big fans of losing Port Macquarie, and they wouldn't have liked to have lost in that particular style. So they'll be keen to make amends. But like you say, they've now got to counter that long road trip.
Only the one senior team to put on the paddock though, so that'll definitely help
True.
Because their reserve numbers have been really good, and their reserves are playing some good footy, which is great.
Especially Troy Kelly. Here he's playing some ripping footy in the reserve grade, mate.
You want me to go there, do you? Yeah, look, I've got to tell the story.
Okay, tell the story.
So I was umpiring reserves on the weekend, and Port had pretty much had the game iced, but not 100%. And Troy's taken a mark about on the 50-metre line, kicking into the southerly at Richo.
3 goal, 4 goal?
Yeah, probably around about there. And I quickly told Troy straight away, so he wouldn't get a surprise, that I didn't think he could kick the ball to the goal square, and that I would be calling play on after the 7 seconds that are allocated. He didn't particularly like that and had some choice words to say at me. But look, anyway, that's one of those things. You sort of need to be able to keep the play moving if you're pretty confident that a player can't make the distance, and I was confident. So anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, big shout out to TK. So just wrapping up on that one, though, mate. Shout out to the GOAT, Sammy Hards. A bit of a nasty injury last week.
Yeah, I heard that.
Busted finger, through the skin, blood everywhere. So yeah, apparently that was a pleasure to see. So the Tigers might have to do without the GOAT for the next few weeks.
6 week minimum, you'd think.
You would think so. So get better soon, GOAT, and we'll look forward to seeing you back out there.
Absolutely. And the other big game, Sawtell versus Breakers. 4 games of footy out at Richardson Park. So that'll be great. 17s at 10 a.m.
Yeah, great value for your admission dollar.
Absolutely. Into the women's game second up. Sawtell got a few out in the women.
Yeah.
I believe. So this could be the Breakers' chance. They haven't won a game yet.
Haven't been too far off though. I mean, they've been certainly competitive all around the park, the Breakers ladies.
Absolutely.
And I guess it's probably just been a little bit of, for me, it's been just a little bit of cohesion lacking to really get the ball deep into the forward line and then have, just 1 or 2 players down there, I guess to do a similar job to what Kira's doing for Sawtell. Pretty much anything she lays hands on is a shot at goal, and more often than not it's through the big stick. So if they could just get some conversion like that, Breakers will be very competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. So it should be a much better game, I think, this week. Then obviously the reserves, which will be great, the local derby, and followed by the seniors, which will be awesome.
Yeah. So I guess from a derby perspective, Sawtell got their nose in front at the moment, 1-0 up.
Yep.
They'll certainly be keen to go 2-0 up because apart from just the derby, they do that. They'll certainly be 3 games clear of Breakers on the ladder, and then depending what happens up at Grafton, could be 3 games clear of everybody. So that'll be big for them. But from a Breakers point of view, I guess they won't want to lose that contact, so they'll be super keen to get up and about. Any whispers? Anything you're hearing around?
Well, Breakers will obviously be a little bit stronger than last time they played Sawtell because they had all those guys playing Neefel. So
absolutely.
That'll do. I think Ben Gibbo might be playing in Sydney though. So
Gibbo's down in Sydney, so that's one out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. He went pretty well last week in both 17s and seniors.
Yeah.
Look, it'll be interesting to see who's on the paddock and how the game shapes up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, mate, we touched on the women's game. We've got some big news women-wise out of Grafton.
Yeah, absolutely. So Grafton didn't get a women's team for the comp this year, obviously, but we've kept the work going there development-wise to try and get some traction there, and we've really kicked some goals on Wednesday. Probably 3-week period leading into Wednesday, but then on Wednesday.
Well, since the famous footy show of On Location, mate.
Yeah, with Vienna. Yeah, that's right. Exactly on our way home from Grafton, and we had a great turnout for a women's come and try on Wednesday night up there, which was great. So we had all our female development staff go up to Elm Oval. I think it was 13 or 14 women from Grafton or the Clarence Valley were there. All first timers, which was fantastic. They
plenty others who couldn't get there.
Yeah, all had a great time, and that's all leading up into the demonstration game against the Cost Breakers women Saturday week. So that's the 26th of May. So that'll be fantastic, and good on the Breakers for really getting behind that to make sure we keep things moving forward with the Grafton Tigers, so that we can get them women's team next year. But it's certainly looking very positive, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a couple more games planned for the women up in Grafton after that, and I guess huge thanks and shout out to both the Breakers women and the Sawtell women who are keen to get up there on their bye week when the blokes are up there and play that demonstration match, because that's really going to help us get those ladies converted and get them rusted on footy players.
Absolutely. Ready to go for next year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it's time to talk about the Force, mate.
It's the Force. It's where it's all at, as Matt Anderson often says. It's the saviour of footy in the North Coast. So we've mentioned a couple of times, we're not too far out now junior Force-wise from trial period. 25th of May here in Coffs, 28th of May down in Port Macquarie. We've put something up on our website now under an article that starts with Nominate Now, because that's what we want people to do. We want to start to get some of those details in. We want to know who's keen. So if you're out there, if you're an under 13, 15, 17 or a youth girl and you want to come and have a crack at the rep program, then make sure you jump on to the website. The rego form's embedded in that. fill that out, get your details through to us, and then come along to either the 25th or the 28th.
Yep.
If either of those dates are a struggle for you, then sing out and let me know, and we'll work out a compromise with you. That then leads into our rep games out in Tamworth on the 9th of June, which will be fantastic and a great chance for us to really help the guys in the Northwest get a kick along in junior footy as well. So important role for us to play out there as well as the force. And then from there we'll pick our final teams for the Rep Carnival up here in Coffs on the 17th and 18th of July. Yeah,
that's really exciting. It's a great 2-day carnival, and it's awesome that it's in Coffs again.
Yeah.
Obviously, having the two grounds side by side is a big factor in that, and I really look forward to both those weekends. Weekend at Tamworth and the midweek one during the holidays up here in Coffs.
Yeah, and the carnival here in Coffs will be bigger and better than ever because we'll still have the 4 teams, one in each age group from the Hunter, from the Central Coast. This time, for the first ever time, the Northwest guys are aiming to have teams in each age group, which will be awesome. And then hopefully the Northern Rivers guys can do likewise. And so from the perspective of our players, there'll be more footy than there's been at any other rep carnival before. So, get in there, get some more good quality footy under your belt. Really worthwhile.
Terrific. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
One of the highlights of last year's show was hearing from people about some dumb things. It's probably not a bad word to use, or silly or funny things that people have done in clubland.
Great quotes.
Yep, things like that. Windburn, running too fast. That's going to go down in history as one of the best. Laura Connell, hope everything's going well with Clancy and everything there. But yeah, so we're keen to get some feedback from clubland. Someone in your club's done something a bit silly and you want to throw them under the bus. Well, you guys feed us the information, and we'll spread it across all of AFL North Coast.
And bear in mind too, viewers, that not only if you give us some juicy stories, not only might it get an airing on an episode of the Footy Show, but don't forget end of year Footy Show awards. If it's dumb enough, if it's funny enough, if it's silly enough, there could well be in the running for an end of season award, the much coveted end of season award.
Absolutely exciting stuff that is.
So yeah, can't wait. Get in touch with us. You've got all our details: emails, phone, Facebook,
everywhere.
Can't find us? Something's wrong.
Good on you, folks. Enjoy the weekend of footy. See you next week.